Hi guys, and welcome to this new video. I'm excited! Today, as you might have realized by reading the title, we're talking about 5 writing tips for beginners. So this is just about how you can get started in writing, what are the key points that you should look for, and what the key things are that you want to do when you want to start getting into writing. So let's begin with the writing tips. The first writing tip is to plan. So before you're starting to write something bigger, like if you want to write a book, or even if you want to write a short story, if it's not just something that you just write to get out of your brain, then I would really recommend you to plan ahead. And I am really the worst person to recommend this because I don't always do that. I rarely do it, but it really helps when I did it. Because if you're writing something longer, it just helps you to remember the basic things you've introduced already. So when you're making a plan for your writing, it can be really helpful to just outline the basic characters you have in there and what basic characteristics they have, so you can create a sort of narrative that makes sense, and then maybe just start with the main plot, like summarize your novel in like one book in one sentence that you want to write. And I think that will be very helpful for your writing process, and you can also come back to it later and see if something has changed or there's some logical mistakes in it or flaws in it, and that's what makes it really good for you to do that. It just makes the whole thing better to read because it makes it less chaotic, more thought about, and the plot will be much better, and also your writing, which you will produce, will be much better, at least from the topic kind of standpoint and from the plot line type of standpoint. So that's always a really good thing to do. The second thing is to form a habit. If you want to get into writing, practice is really important. So if you can form a habit of writing daily even, or at least once a week, for example, then this would be really helpful for your writing, because you just start to practice it more, you start to get better at it, you start to get more comfortable with it, and so you in the end get to better results in your writing. And what I did often was that I just picked some random words. There are random generators, or what you just see around you, like for example camera, and you just write a story about that, and it really helps to get your creativity going and to get that basic practice of writing that you need when you're a beginner. And like that, you're also more likely to achieve a goal if you want to write a book. If you write regularly and you have regular days where you work like 1 or 2 hours on your book, it will be much more likely that you actually finish it. Because oftentimes I think the idea is not the problem, but the getting up and writing that and finishing it and writing those like 200 pages or 500 pages even, that's more the problem. So forming a habit can be really helpful. So let's get to the third tip in this video, which is to use stylistic devices. Many of you have maybe had that in like English class or something, like those standard devices, like rhetorical devices, rhetorical question, emphasis, whatever it may be. Oh my god, I just realized I had my disco LED lights on for the whole time. Okay, so whatever it may be, those stylistic devices really help you to improve your style of writing. And I think maybe you want to see a video on how to like find your own writing style, because I think that would be really helpful for some of you beginners who are just trying to find their own style at the moment. Just getting into that English textbook and looking up the devices that are there can really help to make your writing better and more engaging and more fun to read. So I would really recommend you to do that. So the next thing is to be original. Nobody wants to read that generic writing. Nobody wants to read that typical plotline. I want, and the reader wants, your ideas, your thoughts, your feelings, your perspectives, and your new ideas and plot lines and everything. That's what makes you you, and that should really come through in your writing. So I can understand that as a beginner this might be quite frightening in some sense, because you're being very vulnerable and it can be difficult to sort of convey those feelings into your writing or into your plotline. But I promise you it comes with the time, and it doesn't matter if you write something generic that has been written before, because there will always be a part of you that shines through it. So it takes practice to be original and to write original, and I'm not saying that I'm perfect at it. I'm very far from perfect at it, okay? So that's just a learning process, just with a style. You just develop it over your lifetime, and to be able to convey your ideas into writing can be really difficult, but I believe in you and I think you can manage it. Okay, so my 5th point was to ask for feedback. You've never learned enough about writing or about your own writing. So if you produce something that you're maybe proud of, you can share it with a friend, maybe one that also writes too. That would be quite helpful. So you can give each other tips to improve your writing, because it is one thing if you yourself read it and then correct some things, but you will never have the outside perspective of another person reading what you have wrote. So gaining another perspective and another opinion can be really helpful, and also quite motivating. If your friend, for example, loves your novel or your short story or whatever you wrote, that can be so motivating and so helpful in terms of improving your writing, to ask and get that feedback, and to ask for it and to get that feedback in. That's so cool. And I also always watch videos to improve my writing. When I read the books I like, I think, okay, why do I like it? Is the plotline original? Are the characters well described? Okay, so I think that was it with maybe I want to start a new project on YouTube where I write a book and document my process. Would you be interested in that? Just you can't really have polls anymore because they took that function out of YouTube, but just let me know in the comments below if you want to join me on a process of writing a novel, and that would be really cute. I could give you monthly updates, so I could make a sort of vlog type video, and just, showing you my progress and maybe motivating you to write too. So that could be quite cool. Let me know. I hope you're motivated to start writing now and to really get your feelings into writing, and to just do that thing you always wanted to do, to write that book, If you like this video, give it a like and comment down below. Everything, just everything. I'll take anything. Subscribe if you want. I would be really happy about that. We are actually close to 100 subscribers right now. Yay! So I realize that might be a very small milestone for you guys if you're seeing YouTubers having millions of subscribers. But for me, even that small number, 100, is such a sign of my progress that I've made on YouTube, and I hope that we can keep growing, and I'm very thankful for the 90 people at the moment of you, so I would really appreciate it if you would pass that 100 subscriber mark. Have a good day. I love you guys. Get to writing now. And see you next Friday.